One mini world, one creation dream.
Alright, so we got the first mini game here, and right now you should be able to test. Just in case, to avoid to be a little bit bored, we are going to just take the time to create the second one, okay? This time, as we already know how to create this, it's going to be much easier. So as we are going to add the second one is going to be the one that says Ice Brawl. Basically what you have to do here is to push the players away from the room, from the arena. So for this, we are going to do the next thing. First, create a scenario that is completely empty and just put an arena around the center, guys, okay? The space that I keep here. Okay, well, to know that you are good, Mr. Noob, and welcome to the class. Alright, so guys, check this. Okay, I already got this, but I forgot that I got it. From the center to the border, I'm using 8 blocks, okay? So the arena is going to be 8 blocks to each one of the sides. Be sure that you put the arena just in the center of the map. And very important, you put just ice. You can put whatever you want it, but put ice so the players are going to move like a little bit slowly. Once you finish created your arena, be sure that all the floor is in ice, and just hit with this tool, the tool that is being called developer or handed editor. Click on the floor and you are going to hit an attribute edit. The setup for this block is going to be blast resistance -1, hardness -1, slide acceleration, the most important is going to be 1.8. That is going to make your game feels like you can just realize that you can actually finish. On there I already released the key, but if you see the player keeps moving. Okay, and that's it. Just save it and restart your game, okay? Once you have those two things created, we can start creating our Ice Brawl, okay? So first thing that you are going to do with your Ice Brawl, guys, is that we need to register the map here, okay? So how you can register that? Once more, just go to the register map in the main system folder, access to the first action that was the previously one that we created. Just copy and paste the last thing that you made. Change the ID here, so if you want 0, 1, the next number is going to be a number 2. Change the name, in my case it's Ice Brawl, you can put whatever name you want. And on here, once more, we are going to choose the coordinates. I'm not going to go deeper in there because I already showed you how to create how to check the coordinates for the previous 3 minigames. But remember that you need to keep changing the coordinates here. Once more, this is the spawn method. Let's check our map, okay? So, the spawn method on this one, of course, let's check. If we go up in here, you are going to see that we cannot use the spawn method 0, okay? Because if we use the number 1, that is going to be random, the players can spawn in any area of the minigame, and probably the players can spawn around the borders, okay? And that's probably going to make the players to be teleported here. Of course, the system, the minigame code, has a system that allows you to try to check if the floor is a normal floor, but to avoid lag, is going to make it at max in around 20 times, okay? If after 20 times the map doesn't find a way that actually you can be teleported like in secure way, it's going to teleport you to a random point. So we cannot use that. Instead of that, we are going to use something that teleports us around the center, okay? So as you see, the one that match here is the one that allows us to teleport around the center. So it's going to be the number 3, right? So once more, we go here and we just put the number 3. Now for the coins, we are just going to use the same because we don't want the coins to be spawn it outside the arena. So we are going to just do the 3 again. And the players are going to be able to move, okay? But very important, guys, the coins, it doesn't matter too much if the coins spawns outside the arena, okay? Because the game is going to try to put it in the right way, okay? But if after 20 tries we cannot find a good spot for the start is going to be spawned outside the arena, but it doesn't matter, it's not going to kill the player. So to give the game an extra look, we are going to use for now the number 1, that is random point inside the arena for this one, okay? But remember, you can choose 3 or 1, whatever you want it. And on here, of course, if you want it, put Ice Meteor. Of course, this is not needed because you have the name right here. So I'm not going to put more information. I'm just going to keep it like it is because you got here the information. So once you tell the game that there is going to be an arena there, just do the same. Copy the one that says Meteor Room, just copy and paste it. Rename it. You are going to put the same name and the same ID, number 2, Ice Brawl. Okay. As you see, the conditions are going to be the same, but once more, the ID needs to be the same. So this game ID is number 2. So be sure that minigame is equal to number 2. And the actions are going to be almost the same. So first we set up the rules once more. You are going to have the different rules here. Of course, on here you see I put a 0, so players cannot jump on here. Okay, so that's going to allow the players have only movement to the side, so you cannot jump on this one. The players can move, and the players are going to be a little bit faster, as we want the players to like sleeping around or sleeper, have the sleeper feature. So we are going to move the speed a little bit, okay? Now, the can move option is going to be true. All the other things are going to be false, except can use items and can be killed. Most of the times can be killed is going to be a must because the players need to be able to die. And can use items, true. The only things that change in comparison of most of the games are going to be can jump, okay? Remember, you can check that in the video and you can pause the video. Yeah, there is a lot of Squid Games and Krabby Games right now in MiniWare. Now on here, once more, you change the text for the descriptions. In here, it's going to be push the players outside the arena, okay? And once more, we need to create also the loop. So this time, before continuing, we are going to move to MiniGames loop. Just copy and paste the Meteor one, just copy and paste, and rename it as a Brawl loop, okay? We are going to put the actual accurate name, I forgot to do that, Ice Brawl loop, okay? Remember guys, the loop is which actually is going to handle the rules. And we got the same actions, the same conditions, but we got to change the mini game to the number 2, that is the ID for this game. Remember, always be sure that that happens. And we are going to add a new action, okay? So for the Brawl loop, there is something that will happen, and is that as different like mines are going to spawn around the map, okay? So how do we do that? First, we are going to add a conditions. In this condition, this extra condition will be just like the chances to this to happen, okay? So just add a new condition. The condition is going to be a numerical comparison, okay guys? And in numerical comparison, you are going to choose a random number, okay? Function library, math, random number. Remember guys, this is something that we do for all the triggers, and is the check the chances for something to happen. And random number in between 0 and 100 is less, and you put here the number or the amount of chances. So only 30% of the times this is going to happen. This is going to execute once per second. And the action is to, on here, go to creature, create a creature, okay? And we are going to have this example, okay? For this is going to ask us to create one creature. We are going to select any creature here for now. Select just like the chicken or whatever you put, but be sure that this is going to be the same. So on here, we are going to choose a location. Well, so we need to put function library, random point in the area, okay, in the arena, and we are going to convert a location into a region. So instead of select an area, we are going just to put a location in the middle of your map, and the game is going to do all the other things. So just select function library, convert a location to a region, and you are going to have another green part, and on here it's going to ask us to choose which region, okay? So to put the region is the one that you see in the center. For put any location, any point in the map, just select the number 2 here. You are going to notice that the interface changed for the color that is going to be yellow. Just when you have the area highlighted, just use the tool or that you have in your hands, and it's going to allow you to create this location. You can rename it from here. You can change the name. In my case, I put mines. Okay, and you are going to select that one here, mines, and on here you have the options. Okay, guys, so it's going to tell us how much for each size you are going to increment or create the area. Okay, so it's going to be 6. Remember, to the borders there is 8 blocks. We are going to just put 6. 1, that means that is going to spawn a 1 block above or below, and the 6 is going to be also the sides to the left, to the front, backwards, to the left and right. Okay, and very important, once you have the same setup, you are going to put here belongs to no team. Now we almost finished this game. What we got to need to create here is to create a creature. So for creating the mine, remember guys, when you hit the mine, you are going to be killed. For now, I'm going to show you how to do a simple one, and later we are going to implement a better one. Okay, so just hit add here, guys. Once you add here, you are going to create a new one. And when you create a new one, you are going to do the same conditions. I create a model for my mines. Of course, in your game, it could be different. Very important, guys, notice this. Something that you need to make the players clear about is the model, okay? So check my mine is having some effects that looks or make the mine look that is a dangerous object. First one is the red, like a flash that you are going to see, that in most of the games when you see something flashing red means that it can be explosive. And as you see, the animation is very simple, but it looks like there is going to explode, that is something unstable, okay? So be sure that the mine that you place has some animations and has those effects that make the player know that it's something dangerous, okay? Just put any name on it. Be sure, you don't have to do this, but as a description, I put this warning sign that allow the player know that it's something warning. The attribute is going to be healed. It's going to be a monster. It's going to be healed 15. Attack -1. Movable is going to be on because we want the mines to move a little bit. The speed is going to be 8. That means that it's going to be mobile, as I mentioned before. Movement characteristics, be sure that it can be placeable over the water. In battle, you are going to just choose the group as default. Attack range is going to be 1. View field is going to be 1. In advanced, you are going to delete everything, and for interaction also. But the important thing is here. So you are going to add, once you add the mine, you are going to edit it again, and you are going to have these options. So you are going to add a new script, a new trigger. You are going to put the name of hit, and the conditions are going to be the next ones. Remember, this is going to be usable for all the different games, okay? This mine can be completely useful. So the first condition is when it collides, okay? The first condition is to check if it's a player, okay? How do you check if it's a player? Just check any attribute of the player, because if you don't do it, probably when 2 mines collide, they are going to explode. And that's not the way that we want it, okay? It's the same trigger that we use for the start. So on here, just select player attribute. You are going to check target players, max HP, it's greater than 1, that's it. Second one, you are going to check if it's a player from the red team, okay? We don't want the mine to attack the observers. So for this, just select determine player team. And in determine player team, be sure it's target players in the event. Yes, is from the red team. And the actions could be whatever you wanted. In my case, you can kill the player directly. In my case, as you see, the player first it's going to be push it upwards, and it's going to be knock it up or knock it back, knock a bit. Sorry, I get my tongue tied. It's going to be knock it back out from the arena, okay? So what you have to do is to choose here, and first we are going to remove the creature. So how do you remove the creature? Just hit on creature and remove the creature. Then we are going to give an effect, okay? For now you don't need to put that, but for just making a little bit cooler, I create a buff that shows like a trail for the player. For creating this is very easy, guys. Just go here, status, and create a new buff. The buff is going to be called Knock Bucket, and actually it doesn't do anything. The only thing is that the effect is going to be Knock Smoke 16. So it's going to create a trail for the player for some seconds, and it's going to have the sound, okay? So if you want to do that, that is optional. You don't actually require to do that, but just to let you know, I put that extra information there, okay? And once you do that, you are going to, if you create effect like I made, like the buff, just go to player, add a buff, obtain a buff that is right here, obtain a effect. The effect that you are going to choose is the one that you select. Very important, is going to be for the target player, and the seconds are going to be just for 1 second. Once after that, what you are going to do is also to create an explosion effect for the player. So how do you do that? Go to effects here, special effects, create a special effects on player. Very important, it needs to be the same. The effect is explosion number 2, which actually is the explosion, the minigame explosion model. Alright, then add the sound also for the player. The sound of the player is going to be this one. Sound effect. Once more, tune player's effect sound. And the sound is going to be explosion 2, where is it? Right here. Once more, is in target player, always, because this is a different trigger. If you put other thing here, it's going to give you error, so be sure it's going to be target player. The sound is behavior 47, and it's going to be the explosion sound. And finally, how do you push the players to any directions? Just go here, just go to players. This is going to knock back the player, and just put here move the player towards a direction. That's going to literally push the players to whenever you want to push it. And on here you are going to select once more make player in trigger event, move towards. On here you are going to choose function library. You are going to select facing 3-axis coordinates, and you are going to select the object that performs the action. In the first one and in the last one, you need to do the same thing, okay? So it's function mat random number. On here you do the same. And for both, you need to choose any number in between -3 to 3. Once more on here, it's just the same. In the middle, just put 2, a positive number. That means it's going to push the player always up. If you put a negative number here, it's going to push the player downwards. And the speed is number 1. And with this, just save it. You already have your mine created. And go ahead and end your loop. Okay? In your ice brow loop, you are going to change the creature for the creature that you just created. Okay? So once more, just go here and select the creature that is going to be the mine. Okay? And be sure it's created for no team. And with this, we already got the loop. Once more, once we finish the loop, we go here, we go back to Icebrow. And what we are going to do is just to add here, remember that we already got this change from the previous one. We are going to just change it. You are going to select trigger, and you are going to select the folder, and you are going to select the one that we just created. Remember, it's the loop one, okay? Once we have the loop finished on there, well, we have our game ready. For now, I'm going to teach you until this part, okay? So remember, with this, when you do this, all the things that we made, if everything is working fine, and just for you to be able to test and start thinking about the other games, when you start the game, you will be teleported right here to the normal area, and when the game starts, you will be teleported to any of the two games. And this is going to happen over and over, okay? And after 5 rounds, you are going to be teleported right here. You are not going to be killed if you are in one player. You are going to have another round, but if you are in multiplayer, the player with less starts is going to be killed, okay? Very important, guys. And also, if everything is working fine, you will see the different coins spawn around the areas. So, and you will be able to pick up coins, okay? So as you see, we already add 2 minigames very quickly here. And yeah, you already have the tools to test, okay? But now I want to teach you some extra things, okay? Right now we have like the 2 minigames to test, but I will teach you how you can test or some extra features first, and then I'm going to teach you how to test specific things, okay? So what we are going to do is just to put some useful tools that we always do for all the mini games that will help you out to create better and easy games, okay? So probably you already know this if you were assisting to the previous classes, but we are going to create a new trigger in useful triggers. The name is going to be auto delete effects, and what it's going to do every time that you create an effect is going to auto delete it after 1 second. With that, you don't have to delete the effects manually, the system is going to do it automatically, okay? So how you can do this? Just go here, okay? Rename it as an auto delete effects, and the event is going to be a special effect. When the effect is created at random position, okay? Don't put any condition, just put here another one that is going to be wait. You can find this here. So welcome Basti Soriano. Welcome Pancake Cookie, sorry. You are going to put wait, and the last action is going to be effects. You have to be sure that you are selecting position. So delete special effect on position, and just selecting the middle type of a special effect on the event. With this, every time that you create an effect is going to be deleted, okay? Now, another one that we are going to select is something that will allow us to add some items in game, and after each minigame is going to be deleted, okay? So with this, every time that you create a game, the game is going to delete everything. You don't have to worry for deleting those items, and it's going to keep the items that the player will have apart from that. So as an example, for this game, you don't need a specific item. Well, you just add it on there, and only that item is going to be deleted after the game ends, okay? So how do you do that? Create a new trigger, put the name, because it's going to be a part of our library. It's going to be function set items, okay? It doesn't need to have the same name, but it's going to be very important. And you are going to add an action, okay? Just go to player here, okay? To player, and you are going to add an item, okay? Once you have that, you are going to put 1, and very important, you are going to create 3 variables, okay? But the variables needs to have the same name. I put it here. As you see, it's inventory, just the first one in uppercase, and the number right after, okay? So you are going to create inventory 1. Once more, it's case sensitive, so you need to put the same number here, the same name also. The first one is going to be inventory 1, the second one is going to be inventory 2, and the third one is going to be inventory 3, okay? And once you create the 3 variables, just select inventory 1 and select players in trigger event. I know that is orange, but don't worry, we are going to use this later. Now just copy and paste it 2 times more, and it's just the same, but instead of the inventory 1, on the next one you are going to have inventory 2, and in the next one you are going to have inventory 3. Now just delete those 3, don't worry for anything else. So you see, it's a very easy function to create, okay? That will allow us to do some cool things that you are going to see later. Now we are going to add the final one, and the final one is auto bar effects, okay? So in my game, this is disactivated. Be sure that this one is desactivated, so just put it right here. So it's not going to work all the time, only when you call it. And this one, the one that we create needs to be activated. In my map is desactivated, but in yours needs to be activated. And we are going to create a new trigger, okay? The trigger is going to be called autobar, okay? Once more, we always create this for the minicamps, and what is going to do is just show the bar all the time. Even if the player opens another UI, it's going to show the bar. And this is very important because if you don't put this, whenever a player uses a box, uses a craft table or something, just the timer on the top is going to disappear. This is going to assure that that is not going to disappear. So for this, you are going to add a new action or a new event. Sorry, pardon me. I use pardon. Pardon sounds like very old, yeah. I don't know how to describe it, but it's an old word. And go to word designated timer change. When minigame timer change, remember we already created, and remember this needs to have the same name. If you have a different name for this one, be sure that you put the same I got here. It's also case sensitive. And the action is going to be very easy, guys. You go here, timer, and show timer, okay? That's going to always show the timer. Remember to put all players here. Once more, function, player group, all players. And the title is going to be a string concatenation, okay? And what I put here is like different text for it, okay? So the string concatenation, you can got it right here. String concatenation, and it's going to just copy and paste different strings that we got here. When you got this, on the second, you are going to add another string concatenation, okay? Once more, add here. And you are going to have everything clear, like blank space, and blank space. We are going to use the first one. And in the first one, I put the color, okay? Remember, guys, there is colors for each one, so I put the green color for it, sorry. Then, in the middle, you are going to expand, and here is the most important thing. You are going to choose minigame name. You need to create that variable, guys. And once more, this needs to be case sensitive. So you need to use the same word, same letters, very important, guys, because this is going to be automated changed by the script that we import at the beginning of the class, the core, the minigame core, okay? So be sure it has the same lower and upper cases, minigame name. And finally, in the final one, you can use an space and a symbol or whatever you want to use for time, okay? And that's it. With this, every time that the player moves, the part here is going to be showing up. So let me show you the example very quickly here. Okay, mini word response. What you are going to get is this thing that is going to show us all the information about the map. And even if I move or if I open anything like this, when I close it, it's going to be there. If you don't put that, if you don't use or create that specific autobar trigger, as an example, if I do this, whenever, okay, come on, mini word. Whenever the players open any UE, you are going to see that this disappears. As you see, there is no UE right there, okay? So that's why I recommended to use that one to avoid that error with MiniWord. It's a bug from MiniWord, but you can solve it just by using that, okay? Now that we just created those three dynamics and that we have this, we are going to just create the first extra dynamic, okay? Here, guys, we are going to create a new one apart from spawn starts that is going to be called collide push, okay? And what is going to do collide push is going to auto push the players when two players collide, okay? So just create a new trigger, rename it, put whatever name you want it. I put it function collide push, but be sure that it's under the folder that says extra dynamics, okay? And how it works, you are going to add a new action, guys. Okay, game logic. Player, when the players collide, you need to find out where it's right here, collision. Okay, once more you are going to use the same collisions that we always use. We are going to add here an action that is going to be that the players that collide, the target is on red team, okay? You know how to do it already, just go players and determine player team. We are going to create a second one that checks that the actual one that collides is another player, so just go player attribute here. In the first border, select targets in player in the event, max HP greater than 1. Important, greater than 1. And what we are going to do is just to make the player move. Once more, it's just like the effect that we create before for the mine, but it's going to be less power, okay? So how you can do that? Go to player, on player, go here to where it says move player, on towards direction. Okay, select players in trigger event. Once more, on here, we are going to function library and select 3-axis coordinates. And on select player, that you can choose it right here, select player. We are going to select players in trigger event. And we are going to move 0, 1, 0, and the speed is going to be 0.5. With this, every time that the player hits each other, they are going to jump a little bit backwards, okay? Very important, guys. And that's it. Also, I add the sound for the players, so just go here. And you are going to scroll down and there is an option that says sounds. Play the player sound here. And the sound is going to be this one. For me, it's behavior 20, you can put whatever you want it, okay? And once we got this, what you have to do is just be sure that it's completely off at the beginning, just take out the check mark. And once we do this, and remember we take out the check mark to avoid the game to execute this all the time, just go to your mini games once more. Remember the ice brow that we select? Well, we now have the options to create a couple of things extra. So this is like Metro Room up to the moment, but we are going to add the new functions that we just add. So we are going to add first an object, and the second we are going to activate this new function. So only in this kind of games the players are going to push each other when they hit together. How do you do that? Just add a new action, okay? The action is going to be triggered and it's going to be change trigger status. And the option that we are going to select on here is going to be on extra dynamics and is the one that we just created, collide push, and you are going to turn it on. With this, that function is going to work just for this game. And the second one to actually add items, and remember those items are going to be the items that can be deleted after the game. That means if you use the same system, whenever the game changes, all the items that are going to be temporal items are going to be removed from the inventory. What you do is just go here, add, okay? And this is how it works. We are going to tell the game assigned an item type, set up right here, okay? And the item type, just select the item that you want to give for the players. As an example, you can give the players a tool that can have like knockback or something like that. In my case, the item that I'm going to give to the players is this one. That what it does is just push the players frontwards a little bit, okay? So you select the item that you want to give to the player. You select inventory 1. If you want to give more than one item that is going to be temporarily, just select for the second one like inventory 2, and for the third one inventory 3, so you can give up to 3 items to the players, temporarily items. And once you do that, and you will set up like the value, what you need to do is just to go here in player group, operate trigger, no player set, and what we are going to do is to just perform the trigger that we create in useful triggers, that is set items. Okay, that is going to give to all players the item that you wanted, and be sure that you execute this for all players in the team. And very important, the team needs to be the team one, okay? Because if you put all the players, the blue team is going to receive it. And with this, as we already create this function on here, you are going to see that the player received more items. If you want to create more than one temporal item, remember, just set up on here on whatever minigame you want to put more than one item in the minigame. Just put on here as an example, then set inventory as inventory 2 as the next item, inventory 3 as the next item, but be sure that this one, the perform function set items to all players, is after all of that, okay? And right now we have the 2 games completely, and also we have some extra features that we are going to use a lot of things this game, okay? On this one, the class has been already ending, guys. And right now, if you have a question, please ask me, because I will be able to answer your questions. Very important, let me take the time. On here, I want to do a double check here. In minigame brain. And let me check, because I remember that Saint tells me that he got an error with the coins here, okay? Let me check that error. I want to resolve this. Okay, so this is the code that you got, Saint, and it's the same code that we got here. So probably the error was because you don't have all the options that he did here. Try now, because it seems that after adding more minigames, it's going to be resolved, okay? That's going to be resolved most of the times, but just let me know into the Discord channel, just in case that happens once more, okay? And that will be it for now, guys. With this, I end the class. Please, I'm going to start to play, but if you ask me some questions, I will be able to test. Oh, a quick tip, guys, okay? And this is going to be for all of you. If you want to test any specific game, as an example, you want to be sure that your mature game is going to work fine, and you don't want to be teleported to other games, you only need to be teleported, as an example, for that one. Just remember the ID of your game. And what you do here is just to move to your brain, okay? And in your brain, you are going to add a new line, okay? The line is going to be like this. Just copy and paste this, but put the ID of the minigame that you want to test twice, okay? And let me put here, very important. As an example, if I only want to test the meteor, I will be able to do this, okay? And if I put play on the game, I will be teleported to only that game. Remember, the number one is our... okay, something happens here. Definitely, it's not the way that I expected. But, okay, let me check what happened here, guys. Just a second. Map register. Okay, I need to delete this. Okay, yes, meteor room, okay. All right, and in brain. Okay, that happens. What happens is that I got here my test feature activated, and it was just testing the game one. Now it's the same, as you see, but with the game one. And now let me show you very quickly. Hello, welcome Foxy 7846. This is a tool I also implement just in case you want to test only one game. As you see, it's going to teleport me only to that game in case you want to test only one game, okay? Once more, if you want to just test one game, just go to brain, go to the first option that is switch game, and put that line. And whenever you don't want to test anything, just put two scores, two dashes, sorry, before that name, and this is going to be color green. That means that this is not going to work and your game is going to work normally, okay? So once more, as an example, if I want to test the Brawl, that is the ID number 2, remember, we set it up as number 2, we just put 2 2s in here, and whenever I start the game, I always will be teleported to that specific game. Let me show you once more. As you see, we always are going to be teleported to that one. And even if we change the game, let me wait here the 20 seconds. You always are going to be teleported there if everything is working fine. So you will be able to test game per game, even if you create your new games. Just by knowing the ID of your game, you will be able to teleport to that area, okay? 11 seconds more to show you that specific feature. 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 1 second, and I'm going to be teleported to the same arena because I just put that code, okay? If you don't want to be, and once more, when you are playing multiplayer, be sure that you just delete that line or just put 2 lines here, okay?